And we're live. Welcome everybody to Crystal Diaries. This is our fourth one, and today we've got Adam from, what's the name of your business again? Sorry, I'm a bit tired.
It's all good. So my business is called Soul Star Healing.
Soul Star Healing.
Yeah.
And we're going to be chatting about meeting with the Crystal Kingdom and chatting about crystals. Adam's going to share some tools and tips. About what he loves about crystals. He works and also facilitates crystal healing classes too, don't you?
Yeah, so I do classes around exactly what we're going to talk about this evening. So I'm actually a practitioner and a facilitator with the Academy of Crystal Awakening. So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
That works into my business.
Yeah. And you also work in a crystal shop on the Gold Coast. And
I work at Christie Australia Fair. There's a little bit of shameless plug.
He's pretty much a crystal nut. What's the word?
Yeah, crystal nut. I'll go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I came up with a whole new business name for another crystal business that I have in the UK called Obsessive Crystal Diva, because my wife's name's Diva, and we're too. So I'm like, we're obsessed crystal divas. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because one of the things we'll drop in and talk about this evening is what I refer to as the diva of the crystal, which I don't know whether you've heard of before or whether it's something that you're familiar with, but it's interesting that comes up there. So yeah.
So well, welcome everybody. If you are jumping on, feel free to share this. If you're watching it on YouTube or on our website, then feel free to subscribe. So I'm just going to start and ask you a few questions, and we'll just take the conversation from there. Yeah. But if someone's a beginner with the Crystal Kingdom and like learning the Crystal Kingdom, because so many people are like drawn to crystals, and a lot of time we don't know what it is or half the time when you buy a crystal, a lot of people are, I don't know what it is, I don't really care, I just like the energy of it. So what would you suggest for someone who's learning to like play with crystals and just starting out their journey on the crystal path?
Yeah, I would probably say my number one tip would be to trust. And by that, I mean to trust our connection to the crystals, not so much get into our headspace and think about it from a information place. I would suggest that we drop more into the wisdom that is innately within all of us, because we've worked with the crystals before. And so that information is part of us. And so my key number one is really to say just to trust. Trust what you feel connected to, and then invite that medicine in and start to work with that medicine, and then be mindful of what comes up and what comes through.
I love that too, because I mean, that's the thing is like, how often do we go through our lives not actually trusting what we sense, and then we try and work it out with our heads? But that's the beauty of crystals, is that it's an energetic thing, and we're energetic beings. So we're a lot of the time we'll be just drawn to something. And it's funny watching people's minds try and figure it out. It's like, why are we drawn to this, and what does this mean? And it's like, what if it doesn't mean anything?
And I suppose because I work in a retail environment within a shopping complex, I do get a lot of that sort of mind of what does this crystal do? What is the best crystal for? But one of the analogies I use is that if we want to build our muscles, we go to the gym. We work out. And so what I try to encourage people to do is to drop into their intuition. And if you want to build your intuition, the name of the gym that you go to is called Trust. So yeah, and then when you start to trust what you do, is you actually start to then dial up the volume. You start to receive the messages that are wanting to come in. But usually what we've done is distrust, turn it down, disconnect from. And what I encourage people to do is go to that gym called Trust, work that muscle of the intuition, and then apply that to working with the medicine and the vibration of the Crystal Kingdom.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love that too. I mean, it's like so important for me. I run a crystal business called A Crystal Affair, people are probably on the page right now. But that's the thing is, like, I use that as a way of life too, not only in when I'm playing with crystals, but everything is like learning to just trust my knowing. And that's what we tend to do as energetic beings. We're kind of like, we get an awareness straight away, like as energy works, like we know, bang, like that, whether the crystal's for us or not, we will know it kind of thing. But it's like with everything in your life, you can actually learn to go to the gym and just trust no matter what. Like, no, it's not trying to figure it out, but it's just going, okay, I'm having this awareness right now. I'm going to follow this awareness. I'm going to, doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong, but I'm just going to follow my awareness. The more you trust that, your life becomes infinite, easier in so many ways, because you're trusting you and you're
100%. And I think that's the beautiful thing about if we allow ourselves to connect in and work with the medicine of the crystal kingdom, we then have an opportunity to take the lessons that we learn there into our lives, not just in working with the medicine of the crystals, but we take that opportunity to be connected in with our intuition and to be trusting in that space into our day-to-day lives as well. And so it's not just the medicine of the crystals. And this is the beautiful thing, is that I believe the medicine of the crystals is wonderful, but it all comes back to the medicine within here, the work that I'm doing, the intention that I have. And I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah. So like, as we're saying this too, so I'm probably reading some people's heads here, but a lot of people will be like, well, how do I learn to know and trust? So for you, how have you learned to like follow that intuition or follow that awareness and trust your own awareness? And
I think for me, it's been a bit of a process of getting out of the way. I'm very much, I come from a background of education and I was a teacher, so I'm very much aware of being in headspace. And so it's been a journey for me of dropping out of this headspace and more into this heart space. And, headspace is great. I think knowledge is a wonderful thing. But what I've really learned is that to put knowledge into practice. And so to have experience with something, because then what happens is the knowledge becomes wisdom. And that to me is the key. And I think it's just a process. And as we learn to trust and as we understand that we just sort of get out of the way and allow ourselves to play and have an experience with something, I've come to understand, working in the environment that I work in, that there are a lot of rules and regulations that people put in place around the crystals and the crystal kingdom and the vibrational medicine of the crystals. And I suppose I see my role in that space is to sort of debunk that a little bit. I don't have rules and regulations around working with the vibrational medicine of the crystal, because I'm energy, I'm vibration, my crystals are energy and their vibration. So if I let go of the rules and regulations and give myself permission, and I think that's a real key, is to give myself permission to know that I have the wisdom within myself to make that beautiful connection, to meet the medicine of the crystals and to invite that medicine in and to see what comes up and comes through. Yeah.
I love this because, I love what you said too, because it's like, for me, like when you said it's about having fun with it, just play. That's actually the energy of who we actually be. That's the lightness that we actually be. That's when you're actually following your intuition and your life is like, that's when you start having a lot more awareness. And what you're saying with that is like, get out of your head. It's pretty easy for us to go into our heads and try and figure shit out. If we could have figured out our way to consciousness, I'm sure. But that's the thing, is like, the more we can actually follow that lightness, follow that joy that actually like lightens your world, that's more of you. And that will actually like teach you how to have more. So, I love that.
Well, I say to people when we're talking in the shop and to my clients and things like that, is that when we started working with the crystals, you didn't have a shop that you could go into. There wasn't a book that you could buy. There wasn't the internet where I could Google until the cows come home about what are the properties of X, Y, and Z. We discovered the crystals, we brought them in, and we just started to play with them, and we created ceremony and ritual, and we connected into that vibrational medicine and invited it into our daily life. And I suppose that's what I want to get people back to, is don't Google it, don't read about it first, just trust. And then, yes, you can add layers to that information if you want to, which is what I've done. Like my passion with the crystals, I've gone and studied. I've studied for the last 5, 6, 7 years with Rochelle, and the academy. But what I've found in that space is it's not studying to be head smart. I've studied to become more connected into my heart and my intuition, and to trust the innate wisdom that is within me, that I know how to work with these babies because I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone's got any questions too, feel free to pop them in the comments section. Susie's saying hello. All right, I've got another question for you. So I'm being prepared, a little bit prepared. So if you have a specific thing going on, how would you then pick a crystal from that? And I think we kind of just went into that. Like, yeah, for me, I'm very much the same of you of like, I don't like when it comes to, I actually want to throw the book out. I don't like looking at what I think I need or what it's so interesting too. I was thinking about it, it's like people, we tend to try and like look where we're messed up almost, because if someone says, oh, you need a crystal for grounding, then you tend to kind of go, okay, I'm never grounded enough. But the thing is like in Access, we talk about actually staying in. I'm never grounded enough is not really a question. It's just like, and the thing is like we say, if you come to a conclusion like that, I'm not grounded, then you basically will kind of stick yourself with that whole thing of like, well, I'm not grounded. So you walk away for the next year, for the next week, for the next day, for the next 10 years going, I'm not grounded. But it was just for that time that you may not have been super grounded kind of thing. So that's the part of it is for me is this like learning to be in the question and kind of ask more questions, and not what I like to do is I just like to follow the energy like we were talking about, is just when I'm feeling something, I'll be like, okay, crystals, which one would like to contribute to me? If I'm not trying to figure this out, which one would like to actually just contribute? And then one will pop kind of thing. So how would you kind of go about that?
My first step would not even to be think about what crystal. I would want to come back to a sense of mindfulness of where I'm at. So what's going on for me? Is it something that's been triggered? Is it maybe a choice that I'm needing to make in my life, or some changes that I'm needing to make? We're always on a healing journey in our lives. And if we can allow ourselves to be present in that healing journey, what we do is we then start to create an intention, and that intention creates a vibration. And the crystals are pure vibration. So if we allow ourselves to come to our vibration, then like attracts like. And then we will be drawn to, when we put it out there to the crystal kingdom, we'll be drawn innately to the right crystal that wants to come in and support us in the work that we're doing, as opposed to looking outside ourselves and saying, what's the best crystal for? Which I hear all the time. No. Come back in here. Where are you at? What work are you doing? Be mindful and present with that, and then open to receive from the crystal kingdom the medicine of the crystals that want to come in and support the work that you're doing. So that would be my first guiding principle in that space, I suppose. So I don't use the word rules and regulations. I tend to drop in little words like guiding principle. It makes it a little bit more fun for people, and they respond to those words a bit differently. So I would say, first of all, become present, and then open to receive. Then comes in the trust, and then bring the medicine in. And then it's about learning about different ways of working with the medicine of the crystals, so that that medicine can be activated within us, and then we can start doing the work. Yeah. So
how would you become present? Like, because you've mentioned this several times. So what are the certain ways that you'd like to, that you're in your head, but then just kind of go, how do you do that for yourself, and how do you recommend people do that too?
For me personally, it's spending that time with myself. It might be in meditation or something like that. Sometimes I find, even just like when I'm walking my dog in the morning, I've got space and time to be with myself and come to an awareness of, where am I at the moment? What's going on? What's being triggered? Is it something from a relationship, or is it, what is it? Let it come up. I think if we give ourselves permission to sit quietly in that space, it will just present itself. It's there. It's when we're busy and we're doing all this that we sort of shut it down, and we shut it down because we probably already know it's there and we don't want to look at it. But if we give ourselves if we give ourselves the permission to actually say, you know what, where am I at in this moment, right here, right now? Because if we've got the question, we've got the answer.
Yeah.
And I usually say that sometimes as well, to just say, just be present in this moment. Just stop, connecting with your breath, connecting with your heart, and just allow yourself to feel, and then open your eyes and have a look at the tumblestones. Don't read the words, and you will know what crystals want to come in and work with you.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. It reminds me of like the concept, just in general that we've had in the Access thing about like vulnerability is like having that vulnerability with yourself to kind of go, hey, what's going on right now? Like, where am I at kind of thing, like checking in with yourself, and then just like pushing down your barriers, asking all your barriers to drop down, and then being like, what am I aware of here? What's going on kind of thing. That's a really great, I like that.
Yeah, and I really truly believe that if we've got the question, then we've got the answer.
Yeah.
If we've got the question, where am I at in my life at the moment? We've got the answer. It's just a preparedness to look at it and a preparedness to allow ourselves to feel it, because then we're allowed to heal it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what is something that you now know about crystals that you wish you knew 20 years ago?
I wish I had known about crystals 20 years ago, how simple it is to actually understand how the crystals work. Because I overcomplicated it for a very long time. And through my studies and the learnings that I've done over probably the last 5 to 7 years, and I was sitting in retreat about a week ago, and the penny dropped. And it's just a really simple truth. And I wish I had known it 20 years ago.
Cool. Okay.
Do you want me to share with you what that is?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it comes from that question that I get asked all the time of what does this crystal do? The simple answer to that question is what this crystal does, because everything in the universe has a vibrational frequency. Now, I believe that the vibrational frequency exists in the universe. It doesn't need to be created. So therefore, everything in the universe already exists within me. So this beautiful little piece of quartz crystal here, the vibrational medicine of that quartz already exists within me. So what does this crystal do? When I bring it in to work with, it activates within me the vibrational medicine of this quartz and brings that medicine forth in myself. So it's not what does this crystal do, it's how does it activate in me that medicine and what comes up and what comes through. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that point of view, because it's like, it's looking at from the point of view like we're not separate. Things aren't separate. The outside world isn't separate. We don't actually create separation. And a lot of the time, this thing with crystals is that people look to crystals to do something for them. They look for crystals to do like, well, it's just my point of view, but I've noticed that a lot of people were like, I want the crystal to kind of do this thing for me. But unless you're willing to choose that for yourself too and be that energy for yourself, the crystal can't contribute. If you're not willing to be a certain energy in your life, then the crystal, it's just kind of like a hole in a bucket kind of thing. It won't really do anything. So it's actually, for me, when that stuff comes up too, it's like, what do I need to be willing to be? What am I aware of? But like, also, what am I not willing to be here is a great question that I ask myself. Like, and it's interesting just being aware of different things that kind of come up too. So
because I mean, there are opportunities for the crystals to bring up to the surface things that no longer serve us. That's the beauty of it as well. Like that's that shadow aspect of working with the crystals, bringing up the stuff that no longer serves us. But we have to be willing to do the work to shift that and to release it so that we can love that aspect and heal it and then release it so that we are evolving and growing on our healing journey as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We were talking about possibly doing a quick little meditation for everyone.
Yeah, I just wanted to Yeah, I would really love to sort of, it's sort of like a meditation / process. And because my background's in education, I love things to be experiential. I love people to be able to take away an experience. So I hope that what we've done in conversation is dropped in some food for thought and some little, pearls of wisdom and some pennies for people to sort of go away with and ruminate and have a little think about. But yeah, I'd really love to just drop in a little bit of a process, and it's working with programming crystals, and the idea of tuning in and turning on the crystal and then activating with an intention to program that crystal. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, well, let's do it.
Let's do it. So if people don't have to have it at the moment, because obviously this is going to be posted so people can come back and watch this as well. So I always encourage that what we do when we're working with programming crystals is we work with clear quartz. That's my favorite one in terms of programming. It has the ability to hold, store, and amplify. And the most important thing when we're programming the crystal is that we're actually working with our intention. And so the most important thing to begin with is that we give ourselves permission to sit quietly, as we were talking about before, and allow that intention to come through in its clarity. And so a simple one that I sort of work with in my teachings when I teach about programming, and one that might drop in for people tonight, is that I am open to receiving and giving love. I am open to receiving and giving love. That's just an example. And so I'll work with that one just in this little experiment, or this little example of programming this crystal. So the first thing that we need to do, obviously, if people aren't familiar with it, is always work with crystals that are cleansed and cleared, cleansed and activated. And the easiest way to activate a crystal is to bring it into our energetic vibration. And so this is where that little meditation experience starts to connect in. So what we're going to do is call in what we refer to as the diva of the crystal. Okay, so the diva of the crystal is what I refer to as the divine energetic vibrational alignment of that crystal. So it's like the high consciousness of this piece of quartz that I'm going to program here. So we take a moment just to quieten our minds, quieten ourselves, and drop into that heart space, and we just call in that diva of the crystal. We ask that the diva of the crystal become present to support us in the process of activating the connection, first of all, to this beautiful crystal. And so I tend to just sit with my eyes closed and just allow just a quiet moment of calling in the diva. The breath is always a beautiful thing to work with as well, so allowing that breath to just flow in a natural in and out, not a forced, laboured breath to begin with. And then activating into the golden light of the universe and allowing the golden light of the universe to flow down in through the crown, and inviting the golden light of the universe into the heart centre, and breathing the golden light of the universe deep into the heart, opening to the wisdom and the guidance of the universe, breathing that deep into the heart center. And then allowing that breath to drop down and taking that light down through the base down into Mother Earth, and taking that breath deep into the heart of Mother Earth, connecting in with the energies of Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, the energies of being loved, supported, nurtured, and breathing into that space for a moment. And then allowing that breath to come back up through the base and breathing the energies of Mother Earth into the heart, and bringing those energies together in our heart space, the energies of the golden light of the universe and the energies of Mother Earth, and breathing those energies deep into the heart, and holding the crystal in our right hand. Send with the breath those energies down from the heart through the arm into the crystal, and allow that crystal to receive that energy. Feel the crystal awaken, start to pulsate. Beautiful. Activating the medicine of the crystal, and then breathing the medicine of the crystal deep into the heart. And on the exhalation, expanding that energy out through every cell and every fibre of the being, allowing it to radiate out from the physical body out through the energetic body. And just doing that breath a couple of times and allowing that breath to become what we call an activated breath. So engaging in the breath, breathing the breath in, breathing in the medicine of the crystal, and then breathing out that medicine through every cell and every fibre of your being. Beautiful. And just feeling that activation and connection with that crystal, tuning in and turning it on. And now getting clear with our intention, bringing that intention into our mind's eye, and bringing that intention into every cell and every fiber of our being. I am open to receiving and giving love. My intention. Or getting clear in your intention. Really inhabiting the intention. How does it feel? And now bringing the crystal to the third eye, in between the brow. And again, inhabiting that intention. And now what we're going to do is through the third eye, send that intention, radiate that intention into the crystal. I am open to receiving and giving love. And really allow yourself to feel and embody that intention and feel the crystal receiving that intention. I am open to receiving and giving love. And repeat that 3 times. Now we can speak it out, that's vibration, or we can hold it as a thoughtful. I am open to receiving and giving love. I am open to receiving and giving love. I am open to receiving and giving love. And now bringing the crystal down to the heart center and holding the crystal against the heart, and with the breath now radiating love from your heart into the crystal. Radiating love deep from your heart into the crystal. And now placing the crystal in the left hand, the hand of receiving. So we have now come full circle, sending out and now receiving back in that intention. And just take a couple of moments with the breath to breathe that intention into the heart. I am open to receiving and giving love. I am open to receiving and giving love. I am open to receiving and giving love. Beautiful. And that is programming a crystal with intention. And now what I would suggest, once you program that crystal, keep it with you. Have it in your energy field. Pop it in your pillow at night. Keep it with you. But the most important thing to remember, as we talked about earlier, is that it's not what this crystal is doing. It's programmed now to remind you as a seed, as a talisman, as an anchor of that energy. And it's for you now to embody that energy and to activate that energy within yourself. Beautiful.
Can I ask a quick question? So with that too, so how often do you like to, so say you're working on, as you mentioned, like it's about giving and receiving love.
Yeah.
How often do you actually reprogram the crystal, or how do you need to, is it like a computer where you need to kind of wipe the hard drive and kind of...
Yeah, treat it the same way. I think when we talk about programming, the computers are a really great analogy. You know, they will hold that program. A crystal itself, if we're working with an activated crystal, like a program crystal, I'd say maybe that program's going to last for about a month. And that's saying that's a month of being active in that space, of working with that intention within the self and being mindful of what's coming up and coming through and doing the healing work in that space as well. What I would like to think is within that space at that time, that intention may shift, something else may come up, and it might be something more around my ability to receive love. Something might come up in that space. So we might want to clear that program, and we do that with just the cleansing of the crystal. Control-Alt-Delete. Let's cleanse and clear. And then we can do that process again to reprogram with the next layer of what that might be. of what's come up or come through, to help us to continue to activate in that space within ourselves, that healing journey. But that's why I say receiving first before giving, because we receive and then we can give. And that's usually where people have the problem. Yeah. So it will bring stuff up. That's the beautiful thing. It will activate that. Once that medicine is activated, it will activate if you're working and bring those challenges up, bring those blocks up, bring those things to the surface. That's then when we do the healing work. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks,
it's
mate.
my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight, Adam. That was really awesome. May's is saying she loved that activating meditation.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you. Yeah.
Excellent. No worries. So Tasha heard from Blessed Branches joining us, chatting about witchy stuff with crystals too. So I'm super excited.
Yeah.
So awesome. Again, thank you so much. Cool. Have a great night.
Yeah, travel safe. Cheers. It's a pleasure. Bye.